Do you need anything? You okay?
Just one more time again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get to the laundry and stuff. So.
Okay, Chris. It's recording. Everything's good.
Okay.
Chris, my first question is it is about just the how do you say kind of numbers, just superficials. Like what's your full name?
Christopher Patrick Durand.
When were you born?
November 25th, 1965.
What's your first memory?
Seems like all my painful memories are my first kind of memory. Being in the hospital and my parents walking away as I was getting surgery for something.
How old were you?
I don't remember. 5, maybe 4. It's pretty young.
What was the surgery for?
I had a clown ear
What does that mean?
stuck out like that.
Oh.
So I don't know. I slept on it funny.
What kind of things did you enjoy doing as a kid?
I don't know. I just played like a kid.
Uh-huh.
I don't really particularly. Maybe the merry-go-round was kind of fun. I guess.
Where did you grow up?
When I was younger, Surrey Centre, BC.
You grew up in BC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Do you remember the first thing you wanted to be when you grew up?
No. I do remember the first time where I saw music. Like my uncle had a rock band, and we went and sat in front of them and saw them play. And I was like, that guitar player looks so cool. So I wanted to be that guitar player. And my brother was with me. He wanted to be the drummer. So.
When was this?
How
old were you?
7.
I see. Do you remember when you first caught the music bug? And then what?
I think it was when I heard Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. And that was my first listen to music.
I don't know that.
Alexa. Okay.
So were you committed to being a musician? When did you kind of like really want to?
Actually, just in high school, I wanted to play. I was in guitar class, so I was learning guitar, and then I went for 2 years at the guitar, so grade 10 and 11, and then 12. My teacher stuck me on tuba, which I didn't really want to do, but actually it taught me how to play bass in a way.
Right.
Kind of the root notes and stuff. So I guess that was a good thing.
What was your first guitar?
It was a little Anjo. Strings were about that high.
Acoustic?
It was tiny, little acoustic.
Uh-huh.
And it was hard to play.
Cool guitars that you had. What are cool guitars that you had? Like amongst your favorite?
I had a Kramer Lightning Bolt, red speckled kind of guitar with a Floyd Rose on it. That was probably one of my first guitars. I had a Gem 7.7 root beer guitar with pink pickups. I had a Joe Pass, archtop, yeah.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. And I had a Simon and Patrick luthier acoustic, and the Joe Pass and the acoustic got stolen, so I lost them.
Wow. Where from?
I was moving off of White Ave to move here, and I guess I left my doors open.
In your car?
Yeah, so they took the two guitars. But what do you do?
Yeah. Were you? How did you react? Were you broken? Were you?
Well, I said if they needed it more than I did, I guess then they hope they play good, you know.
So you were that lighthearted about it, you?
Well, you know what, like, I think that, well, the Joe Pass meant a lot to me, but the acoustic was just an acoustic.
Uh-huh.
And I do like acoustics. Yeah, so there they go.
Do you remember the first time when you really connected with music? You played and you really felt like, wow, I'm gonna be great at this. Or, you know, this is. You know,
My first band was called Violet Archer, and it was from this town, Morinville. And I tried really hard to learn the songs, cover tunes, and I didn't feel like I was a virtuoso for sure or anything, or even now for that matter. But I just I loved playing music, you know. So
when was your first gig?
I think it was
And with who?
with Violet Archer. It's back in the 80s, and it was the age of spandex, you know.
So
Back then I wasn't fat. So I was just a young punk, you know, playing kind of glam rock and rock. Or I was more into like AC/DC and stuff. But the other guys in the band were into more the keyboardy stuff. So it was all good. It was 2 months of bliss, and then that was it. Sorry about that.
Not at all. What were your musical influences? Who did you wish to be like in guitar?
Well, in the late 80s, Stevie Ray Vaughan was just the best, I thought, in all genres. Like, I mean, he was a blues guy, but he added in Jimi Hendrix, and he listened to a lot of music that was not just, well, considered blues, right? Like Grant Green, Live at the Lighthouse. It's a great album. And he said, he's quoted as saying, this is the best funk band he's ever heard. Yeah.
How was the '80s scene in Edmonton? The rock scene, the music scene.
It was popular. Everyone was. You could go pretty well anywhere in Edmonton, on east, south, northwest, or you know, north, south, east, west, whatever. You pretty well go anywhere in the city and find a rock band playing, and a good one, you know. So
what were some great ones you remember?
White Wolf, You know, so long ago, but you know, there was a lot of great bands, but I can't remember them all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How did you develop your tango feel?
I learned that from Yann Latouche, a Frenchman that used to live in near White Avenue, and we lived together. And he was into Django Reinhardt, and he'd always be like, "What?" So I just picked it up off him,
Uh-huh.
you know. So he had such strong hands. He's looking at my guitar one time, and pop, there goes my freaking. Uh, he busted the nut on the neck just by holding it.
Wow.
Just team. But he learned how to build guitars. He built a Mac Ferry, actually. Django Reinhardt guitar.
Oh, wow. No, wow.
The one with the metal inside to make it louder.
I didn't know they had that.
It had an oval hole like my acoustic,
Uh-huh.
but it had like a tin plate in there. So like it would make it louder.
Oh, I didn't know that was the trick. I hadn't. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you remember a gig where you played just to your heart's content kind of thing? It was just medicinal kind of your best gig you've ever played.
It was outside. A busking.
When and where?
Victoria, Johnson, and Douglas at the bottom of the hill. I was playing this tune. Can't remember which one we were playing. It was with a band. And there was about 50 people dancing around us. And there's this woman laying flowers at my feet, calling me Krishna. Like, really? Like, what? And I was kind of weirded out by that, but I saw that, well, this light blew up in my mind. And I was like, whoa, you know, meditation or something.
Kind of like the zone? You felt like you were in the zone?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Speaking of which, when do you remember the first time you connected with the zone? You were in the zone?
Oh, there's little spurts, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I think that's kind of what drives musicians, is to get to that spot again, right? It's a magical place. It's like where there's no pain, there's no suffering. You're in the light, in a good vibration. You know.
Right.
Hopefully, I'll go there again.
So how would you? I guess that's how my question was gonna be. How you describe it? How you describe the zone to somebody who doesn't play or.
It's like being a prophet, or being like Christ, and just ascending into a place where you're like, it's pretty hard to describe.
Is it almost a form like a form of enlightenment? Would you say?
Yeah. And then it's funny, the mind actually wants to get back there. And I see a lot of the greats, like, you know, rock musicians mostly, but just the greats, like Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Janis Joplin, Frank Zappa. Well, Frank Zappa he was unique. He was a smart musician. And I'm not, like, Frank died of cancer, but I think.
Yeah.
But
Prostate, I think.
like, you see Kurt Cobain, he kills himself, right? He got to the place and then ever since then, as a musician, he tried getting back, right? I think, but his physical body and his lifestyle got in the way, you know. So I think that the 27 Club. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
That's like musicians die at 27. And oddly enough, there's a lot of them,
Right.
you know, so yeah.
Do you have ways? Have you developed ways in which you can? And for example, for me, I know there's ways that that will prevent me from getting into the zone, such as doubt or self-consciousness or any form of criticism.
Yeah, you're your worst critic, actually.
So, what are ways that you tend, or you would tell people who, you know, young players?
Not, you know, I would. It's funny. I have one student, and it's my nephew, or not my nephew, my auntie's grandchild, who's my first cousin, first removed, and he reminds me of myself when I was younger, and he's progressing. He's 17 and he's progressing. What was the question again?
The question is how would you if a
to tell them, right?
if a new player would ask, how do I get in the zone? One thing I would comfortable suspension. There has to be a suspension of kind of I don't know, falling on your, I don't know how it is. It's a matter of faith almost, but doubt, criticism.
It's almost like going blank. You go blank, and then you're just like, you're looking around at your friends or whatever, and then you're blank, and then you're like, and then you just, you're listening to the music being played around you, and then you're adding in something that it's almost like it's not you.
Right. There's a certain almost like separation from ego, and as you detach your ego from the performance, you almost let God kind of channel through. Or
yeah, sometimes that's scary because I'm just like, where is this coming from? You know,
right?
Is it coming from God or is it coming from the other guy? You know, so, and it can be overwhelming if you get caught up in it too much. I find that you got to find a happy medium. You know, just test the waters, dip your toe in, but not go into the deep end, you know?
Uh-huh.
So.
Have you seen egos flare on stage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
But it's more of, like as musicians, it's... I mean, it's like passing the hot potato. And you don't have to have somebody say something to you. You can actually feel it in the music. Like some people like to challenge. Well, I like to, and like not just entertain, but have fun, right? That's to me more important than chops, and is to enjoy yourself in the moment, you know. So.
But any freakouts on, like, for example, drummers getting mad at bass players, and
I've done some gigs where I just wanted to take the bus home. You know, like I'm talking miles and miles away from home. Cover tune gigs, if you want to make a living at it, it's not for me. It never was. I tried. I did some cover tune gigs, but writing music and stuff, I've only written a certain amount of music, and I've met enough and played enough and been in the studio enough to actually understand what needs to be done in the studio. And studio is so different because you could lay down your rhythm tracks and then you can play over top of them with whatever. And I never play a solo the same every time, and it's usually off the cuff. And honestly, why would anybody want to copy their own solo after they do it? Because like they asked me, can you do that again? And I'm like, well, I can't. And then these African hip hop guys that I know, they told me the other day, they said, you're the, when we first saw you, we thought you were the sound man. and then they heard me play. And then they were just like, holy shit. And they said, you never play your solo ever the same twice or whatever. And that the next solo sounds just as good or even better than the last one. So I'd suggest to any kid or adult, anybody, to search themselves and play their soul. You know, so.
What's right? What's the song that what's an original song? What's your original? What are some original songs of yours that you like the best?
Styling wise?
No, some that you made. What are your songs that you like the most?
Well, I like them all actually.
Any favorite?
Well,
like for example, for me, there's that tango.
You like that one? Yeah, that's.
It sticks to mind. I like them all, but that one has a special thing. Is there?
That's kind of from your kind of hood, you know. So for you, it's like wow.
And I remember the Black Box Studios had a jam, and how I first heard it.
I loved playing it with you, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard that recording.
And Bergeron, I think, right, killed it.
Oh, he did some nice stuff.
The recording was beautiful. I remember that jam you brought, Southern Comfort.
Southern Comfort, yeah.
And then you pulled it out. And I thought, oh, what a wild tango blues! Like wow.
Yeah, I learned it from my friend, who was influenced by somebody famous, but I wasn't a Django fan. But it seeped out of my friend into me. And so that's why I wrote that song.
What's the name of it?
I call it Yango. Because my friend, his name was Yan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And he influenced me to write that song.
How long did you live together?
A couple of years, I think, 2 or 3. We used to play video games at Naked Cyber Cafe. And we were addicted. Like he was addicted, I was addicted. We would play like 8 hours or something on the computers, and then we'd be like, "Oh shit, how much did that cost?" You know. So I think Bob, the guy that owned the cafe, kind of gave us a really good deal because we didn't have the money after a while. We paid him all our money, you know, that we could get our hands on to play.
Inspiration. Do you feel it? How do you say? Can you write a song about no matter what mood you are? Or for example, for me, when I'm kind of down, I have no inspiration whatsoever.
Actually, most of those songs are written from down.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So
the tango one, actually that wasn't really down. It was more of a dream I had, and I was trying to rewrite the dream. So the lyrics, kind of like the mist of time, is actually me dreaming of being with somebody and trying to be with them in the dream. And it's like, it's got an Egyptian kind of motif kind of thing.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Okay, so interesting. Let's see here. You had names for bands. I remember you had them marked down. Do you still have them somewhere?
I have names for songs.
Oh, song name. Okay.
Yeah, about 300 titles.
Right.
But and some of them are, you know, they something in my mind I think about, and then I like, oh yeah, and then there's what is it? I don't know if I have.
I remember you were reading them to me when we were on the phone one day.
Yeah, one was pretty heavy. It's about what's going on with me, and I think it's called. Let me see if I can find it.
While you look for it, do you have any other artistic outputs like painting, writing?
You know, I never really did painting. And writing, I did like write out lyrics and stuff.
Okay.
More towards music, but
Right. I see.
Yeah.
What famous people did you meet?
I met. Geez. I'll start off with, let's say, Danny Gatton.
I don't want to interrupt you from that song. I'm curious about the song.
Oh, okay.
Danny Gatton. Is that a
Danny Gatton is a
country?
rockabilly
right
country
He
guy.
plays the telly, yeah.
Oh, he was, yeah.
I think I saw him.
I think he should have been like up there with Elvis and all those guys.
Oh.
You know, he played with Vince Gill and Albert Lee
Oh wow! Yeah,
live,
that's another
and
one.
I watched it the other day, and he's so unique. I would say out of all the interesting musicians in the world, that was one that I was glad I found. I met him too, yeah. Shook his hand. And I think I was deaf because he was so loud. I don't even remember his music. I had to listen to it on a computer, actually.
Where'd you meet him?
At Harpo's in Victoria. Yeah. Met Frank Zappa's son, Dweezil. Saw them on the plane in Maui right after he died, going to Maui. And then I saw him again in Reds in Edmonton. And I talked to him and I told him that. And he kind of didn't remember it. So, but I did. So, you know, I'm trying to find it. Must be in the other one. Yeah, and then I met the band Nazareth.
Huh.
I met. I can't find it. We'll do it later.
Okay.
Um,
I thought you had him some sheets. No, you had him written down or something.
well, I do, but it's on another computer.
Oh, I see. It's on a computer.
So, oh,
It's from Nazareth. What's the luckiest thing that happened to you? Do you remember, bro? I don't know if you ever won the lottery or something, or you know.
oh yeah, I did. I won the lottery. I won $10,000 one time. It was just funny walking in line, scratched it, and I looked at it, and I was like, "Is that 3 10s to this guy in line?" Yep. Bam.
When was this?
Oh, about 5 or 6, 7 years ago.
Nice.
Stuff goes fast though.
What did it go on?
Mitsubishi Mark V. Yeah.
Wow.
I traded my Supersonic for it because the Supersonic, they're really persnickety amps. They wired them funny.
I don't know. I didn't see your Les Paul here. What's the story with that? How
Oh, Dad bought it for me
okay.
after I got those 2 guitars stolen. A few years later, he said, you know, when I was a kid, he told me, after you learn how to play that guitar, I'll buy you a better one.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember if he gave me another one, electric guitar. I think he bought it for me. And he said, after you get really good on this one, I'll get you another guitar. Well, that didn't happen until after I got 2 of my favorite guitars stolen, and then he bought me the Les Paul.
What kind? What year?
It's a Slash custom Les Paul. So it was designed for Slash. It had a piezo pickup in it for acoustic-y sounds in the saddle. Had a volume in there, and
A special piezo volume?
yeah, a volume for the piezo. And it took a battery, right? But I got it wired up, so the Y cable that comes out of it, so that one would go to the pedals for the pickups, for the electric guitar pickups, and the other would go to a preamp, acoustic preamp.
You had 2 inputs? 2 outputs?
Yeah. It's a tip ring sleeve. You know, it's like a stereo cable. It's split. It's wide. It's a Y cable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I gotta tell. Well, Corey's gonna inherit that one. So
Beautiful.
yeah, and the acoustic is going to my other brother Tracy, and the telly is going to Pascal, right?
Yes.
Giving it, Pascal paid me more money than any other band guy that I've ever played for. So, and at first when I started playing his music, I didn't really like it. It was really fast and hard for me to play. And then I started liking it once I got